you're back with Mr. Berger, and I've been really excited to start this little mini series with you guys. Ever since I got the opportunity to be able to record videos with City Skylines successfully without any issues, I really wanted to start like a little, like I said, a mini series kind of for my channel where I just start a new city at the beginning in the first episode and never touch it except when I'm recording for, videos for the channel. So today, or tonight, we're going to be starting a brand new city. So first things first, guys, I got to share with you all the mods that I'm going to be using. Now with this whole series, I wanted to kind of keep it a little bit vanilla at first, but then I decided, maybe I could do a separate series another time where I do, it a lot more vanilla or fully vanilla. So we're actually going to be playing with quite a few mods enabled. Now, I don't want to spend too much time on this. So if you're not interested in hearing all the mods that I'm using, you have your own, whatever the case is, feel free to skip ahead. I'll try to put a timestamp in a comment or in the description, if not both, where this part ends. But we're just going to take a quick skim through all the mods that I'm using. And I'm going to touch up on a couple of them very briefly, and then we're going to go ahead and take it from there. So I'm not using 81 tiles. A lot of these are just filler things, things that adjust the way that it looks or that are dependencies, things like that. Like for the airport roads, we're not worried about that. I am using the 25 tiles, so we're going to definitely be keeping that in mind. We're not going to just use the default 9 tiles. We're using 29. I like using the building themes mod. I like doing different themes. And then a lot of this other stuff, let's see, custom animation loader, that's just for a few assets. Daylight Classic, highly recommend that one. Extra landscaping tools, definitely recommend that one as well. I don't want to touch up too much on what they do. You guys can look into that yourself, but I'll just point a few out that I think are really worth looking into, and as they come up I'll point them out in the series. Find it, definitely want to use that one. Helps you find a lot of things. Find Road Anarchy, definitely super vital. Find Road Tool, another kind of dependency one, but you want that. I'm not going to be playing hard mode. Definitely recommend the loading screen mod that helps you load in a lot quicker, and among other things. Move It, another super important one, just lets you move pretty much anything, anywhere, anytime. Raise it, lower it, all kinds of cool stuff. Network Extensions, it's another road mod, I recommend that as well. One-way street arrows, not really necessary, it's up to you. Parallel Road Tool is kind of cool, lets you do roads side by side really easily, so you could try that one. Pause on load, not really necessary, but it pauses the game as soon as you start, so if you have a long load time, maybe you're running it from a hard drive rather than a solid state disk or something, then you may end up with 5 or 10 minute load times or whatever. On my old computer it was like 4 or 5 minutes. So pause and load can be really useful for that, especially if you're playing with like natural disasters and stuff. Plop the growables. If you use this one, make sure to go into the options. I made this mistake before. It automatically disables the automatic level up. Man, so anyway, it made it so none of my stuff was leveling up or something. I think they must have changed it because that's only from the plopped growables. But before it did like all my buildings in one city, it was a whole disaster. Anyway, ploppable asphalt, just a few other things. Precision engineering is pretty important. Prop and tree anarchy if you want to put trees wherever. Prop line tool, that's a good one if you're doing like lines for trees and you want to make it look really pretty, like trees lined along a beach or along your fence or along the side of a road or something like that. A lot of prop precision, a lot of more prop kind of mods, prop snapping. You can look into these things specifically what they do, but it's just more stuff to kind of help you move stuff around with more freedom. Quay anarchy, another thing, it allows you to more freely move the quays, which are, am I pronouncing that right? Is it quay? They're the things that you put on the side of water to make it kind of like a wall, like a stone wall kind of thing. Random tree rotation, roundabout builder, I haven't messed with that too much, but I've heard it's pretty cool. The flags, I don't need that on actually. Let's turn that one off. That's not necessary. Theme decals, just more stuff. TMPE, this is like your number one friend. If you're gonna get any mod, get like a couple of the fine road tool ones, and the precision engineering, and definitely TMPE. Helps control traffic like crazy. Ultimate eye candy, just a visual thing. Ultimate level of detail, another visual thing. Now here's some of the default ones. This is how I like playing, okay guys? And I think this is how I'm gonna do this series here. We're not going to do unlimited money, because I do like having like the money aspect of it. I feel like that's a big part of the game. Unlimited oil and ore, honestly I could care less. I don't do a whole lot of oil and ore areas, but I like having it on, so if I do dedicate like a certain spot to oil, and then my oil pumps aren't just going to run dry early on, you know what I mean? And you're going to be able to dedicate that the whole time. Unlimited soil, not necessary with the one of those mods that allows you to do all the landscaping. It's like the not more beautification, one of the other mods I covered earlier. And unlock all. Honestly, the only major reason that I do this is because I like playing with a bunch of the tiles at first. I like playing like being able to unlock all the tiles initially, and they give you enough money to do that, to unlock them all and basically have the same starter amount. And then you can build anywhere on the map that you want, and you can have like really far separate districts. You can have your industry way on the other side of the map and things like that. And you can also get things like all the public transit right away. So let's say you have 2 big districts and you want to just connect them with trains early on, you can do that. You can have your train right away. So that's the reason why I like playing with unlock all. If you want to play vanilla, then I'm going to try to point out, the way that we would do it from here and there, or here and there throughout the video, throughout the series. Like, rather than using the, the sewage asset that I downloaded, I'll point out like, oh yeah, you got to put the, sewage output pump, whatever it's called, by a river, and you think about putting where the sewage is going to go and the pollution and all of that. So I'll try my best to point that out. But again, this series is going to be more for kind of my personal modded version of this game and how I play it. Couple other things really quickly. If we go into options here, I'm going to be playing with the weather turned off and the day-night cycle turned off. I highly recommend doing the autosave. I don't know why that's not turned on. That's weird. I thought I had that turned on. Well, anyway, good thing I checked this, right? You want to turn on the autosave every once in a while. That's going to be really important in case you forget to save. And just mess with the options a little bit. I recommend doing that. Look at different things. You can disable fire spreading if you want to make it a little bit easier. Weather, I don't like the weather, so I turn that off. Hide faraway notification icons if that's bugging you. All kinds of cool stuff like that. So just mess with the settings a little bit. Get it to your preference. And yeah, let's go ahead and start a new city. So let's go ahead. Oh, do I need to hit apply or anything like that? No, okay, cool. I can just hit the X. There's no apply option. Okay, so we're going to go to new game. I like sorting by buildable area. And as you can see, I have a whole ton of maps downloaded here. And we're going to be playing one of my downloaded maps. You can see there's a little Steam icon next to them. Flatlands is like the flattest, largest, most open area map that you can get. That's why it's at the very top. You can see suitable area for building is 93%. Redwood River is close by, and I think that's actually the map that I'm going to be using today, or for this series. I like the look of it. I was thinking about Vanilla Lake by Mr. Miyagi. I really like his maps. I've done a number of his maps, and they're really good. The way that he constructs it is really good. He puts a lot of time and thought into it, and they just look really nice. But I think for the sake of this series, I'm going to do Redwood River. I've been doing a lot of kind of tropical themed maps and cities, and not literally like the base theme. The base theme's actually temperate, but you can see I've got all these custom themes down here. So I'll do the Seychelles. I'm probably butchering that pronunciation. Somebody please feel free to correct me. I've been wondering how to pronounce that word. That little guy right there. The Clara is also really nice. You can see down here I got a bunch of maps that I really liked and looked up online on the workshop and stuff. This was the one that I was doing for my last video, my last City Skylines video, the Paradise Reef one. Ocean City, it's based on Ocean City in New Jersey. That's a really nice one. This is a really cool one. Reminds me of the islands where I was born, the Marshall Islands, because it's kind of like a big caldera and a very tropical area. And the cool thing about this is, yeah, there's only 7% buildable area, but if you have all those extra mods, you can go in at the very beginning and literally just like raise islands within a matter of seconds, and you could create a whole strait across the center or a whole massive island in the center and just adjust it, and you can flatten mountains and stuff. So we'll go ahead and keep that in mind. Again, I forgot exactly which mod that is, but I'll point it out. I don't want to go through the mods again here. You guys can, figure out which one it is, or I will be sure to point it out in the future once we get going here. But I want to make sure we actually get the ball rolling here. So we're going to be playing on Redwood River. Now for the custom map theme for this, the only one that I have is the realistic one. So I'm going to do that. Most of the custom map themes that I have are based on the temperate, so you can see I got like 5 there. And honestly, that's what most maps that are downloaded online are. They use that temperate. It seems to be one of the most popular ones. So let's go Redwood River. Let's go realistic. I don't want left-hand traffic, so I don't make the mistake that I did and think that it's turned on right now. When there's a little black circle in the center, that's turned off. So if you click it and there's a light blue circle in the center, now you've enabled left-hand traffic. I live in the United States, so I like right-hand traffic. It's just I'm more used to it, and that's how I construct my cities. So let's go ahead and hit that start button. Now you can see as we're loading in here, guys, I have the loading screen mod set up, and there's all kinds of things that you're going to be seeing flashing on the left side of the screen there. Don't worry about it too much. It's not too important. It's just going to tell me like assets that I'm missing based on, sometimes I'll download like a building and it'll have like a bunch of assets attached to it, you know, like a little chimney coming out of the top, and I won't download the chimney either on accident, or I just decided I'm not really going to use that asset or whatever. Frees up a little bit of space. But this loading screen mod is kind of nice. It does give you a little bit of a better idea of how long it's taking to load in. Of course, it generally like freezes up in the last you know, minute or 30 seconds or so of loading in, and so it's not gonna be super accurate because it'll be saying like a minute loaded for like another 30 seconds. But anyway, yeah, you can see all the stuff popping up there. So we don't need to go ahead and stare at the loading screen mod. I will go ahead and jump on into once we get fully loaded here. Now you can see as we're loaded in here, we're greeted with this congratulations Megalopolis screen. Okay, well, the reason for this is because we did the unlock everything mod, and it's not even a custom mod. That's just something that comes with the game, and again, it's just like my style of playing. That's how I choose to do it. So that's why we're seeing this screen right away. If you're playing vanilla or you're playing with that off, you're not going to see this right away. Now you will see all these cool little prompts, and I highly recommend reading through these things if it's your first time playing the game. You know, it's going to pop up little things like that. Again, if you're playing with everything turned on and, you know, everything unlocked, you're probably going to be seeing more things pop up than usual. But if you're playing without it, you know, with just the default stuff, then don't worry about it too much. You're probably going to be, you know, seeing stuff that comes up as you go through and like naturally come to those things that are necessary. You're going to see the little prompts and the little tutorials. And so I definitely recommend taking the time to read through those. Now, you'll notice that it's already paused. You can see the red barrier on the outside of the screen there. Really light. I think it's red. I'm terrible with colors. And if it isn't already paused, if you're playing without that mod, then I highly recommend pausing it first thing. And I probably should have mentioned that sooner. If you didn't, it's not a big deal. You're totally fine. Just pause it now. It doesn't make a big difference, honestly, at all. The idea behind pausing it first is everything in this game costs money, and it costs upkeep. So once you put it down, as soon as I put a road or anything down, it's going to cost me money to upkeep it. So this dirt road right here, so we can look at the price. The cost is 20, I'm just going to call it dollars. I know it's not dollars, but we'll just say that it's dollars because that's the currency that I'm used to using. Somebody can feel free to correct me on what the actual currency is called in this game, and I'll do it from then on. So let's say it's 20 bucks to put it down, and then it's 19 cents a week per cell, so per, you know, little unit there. So every time I put something down, it costs money every, you know, week, which is, you know, a unit of time in this game. It's not literally a week in real time, but it's a week in game time. So keep that in mind. That's why you don't want to have it unpaused when you put stuff down, because if you have like a few roads down and you're thinking about your layout and what do I want to do, then, you know, you're going to be wasting that money that you could be saving, you know, unnecessarily. You're going to be wasting it on basically nothing. It's just absolutely unnecessary. So anyway, I'm rambling on about that. So let's go ahead and get started here. The first thing that you want to do if you are playing in vanilla is just put one tiny little strip of road right there, just one unit of dirt road, and that allows you to unlock one-way roads. So we would put that down, then we would just delete it, and then we could put down one-way roads, and then we could put a little one-way road from the highway, like out here like this, and then another one connecting in, and then we might put like a nice little roundabout. And there's a lot of different ways you can do roundabouts. Let's take a look at some examples. The first way that you can do it is you can just go to the little circle there, and they give you some default roundabouts, right? And they're not bad, you know, small roundabout, not bad, little starter there. But you can also download a bunch of assets online. Some of the best ones, if we use the Find It mod, another highly recommended mod, you click on that little search tool down there, or is it F? I don't know what the default hotkey is, but you use the little Find It mod. Let me close my window here. I think there's an airplane flying out there. and you can just type in whatever you want. So I could type in roundabout, and it'll bring up all the roundabouts that I have. Some people don't use thumbnails. This is one of my favorites, the very best roundabout. It's just made from highways and has a little walking path around the outside. So you could use that to do the entrance of your city. One of my favorites here, again by Mr. Miyagi, is this high-speed vanilla roundabout exit that he made. And that's what I like to use. I like to use that guy there to enter my city because it's cheap and it gets the job done and it can hold a good amount of traffic. It's just efficient. But if you don't want to do that, if you want to, you could throw down, you know, a little bit more highway if you have everything unlocked. You could do a three-lane highway further out. But again, let's do kind of minimalistic stuff right now. So let's just start with, let's not do a highway, let's do a road, and we'll stick it out a little bit further. Do I want to come out further? Well, guys, another thing that I wanted to point out here was, if we're playing with everything unlocked, before we get started here, we can do a couple other things. We could buy all the different tiles, so we could unlock everything right away and expand, you know, right off the bat and start wherever we want. And I may do that for this series. We could also like do things like flatten out the land a little bit if we wanted. So if we pull down the little terrain height thing here, you can see it's actually pretty flat right here. But over here by, like, you know, the mountains down there, or up there in the corner, right, you can see it's not flat at all. And if we go a little higher, kind of do the terrain height, yeah, you can see that it's a lot bigger there. So let's go ahead and do what I said we were going to do with this series, and we're going to unlock all the tiles now. Maybe I'll speed this section up here. Alright, we've got everything unlocked now. Another reason I wanted to do the Redwood River is because I'm here up in Humboldt and I live in the Redwoods, so I thought it would be nice. Now, next thing that I was looking at here, guys, is we have a lot of different areas we could start, right? A lot of different options. But what I'm kind of worried about here is having those train tracks right nearby the obvious starting area. I do want to take advantage of this nice little trumpet exit that they made for me in the default map there. So we want to try to build around that. So I'm going to actually, you know, when you unlock everything, you're not paying for anything that's pre-built. But if I rebuild anything, I'm going to have to pay for it. I'm not planning on making a train system anytime soon. So I'm going to actually demolish some of these train tracks to get us started here. Because I don't like how the train tracks were kind of, you know, coming straight into the starting area there. So we're just going to peel that back a little bit. That's probably enough there. Not too worried about it from there on out. And so at this point, let's look around, see the nice map, check out the river. I haven't built anything, so I can afford to let it, you know, flow for a little bit so we can look at that nice water, the realistic theme. That's really, really nice looking. I like it a lot. The shore doesn't look very good, though. Maybe I need to turn up my details and stuff a little bit more. But anyway, let's go ahead and put it back on pause now. Let's get back down here. And now that we're like an hour into the video, let's actually start building something. Okay, so as I mentioned, the first thing that you want to do is build some sort of a roundabout and an exit to from your freeway into your city. So we're going to kind of start around here. I want to start a little bit further in. So let's do a couple one-way roads like I was saying, and we'll upgrade these to highways later. So for now, if you have the precision engineering and everything turned on, you can hold control down if you're playing on PC, and that will make everything directly stick to like direct angles. See, 180 degrees, 175, 170, that's what I'm trying to say. It'll allow you, rather than, you know, doing certain like decimals of angles, and it'll allow you to snap onto more, you know, specific angles by multiples of 5. So we're gonna come down to about, let's go pretty far in. Let's go about there, and then we can expand our way towards the river. So 80 units. And then I can pair up next to this guy and bring him on up. It's not quite perfect, so let's bring it in a little bit closer. 180 degrees. Perfect. Alright, now these are not highways, these are one-way roads. If you have the what is it? The network extensions mod, I think it is. It gives you more road options, so I could do like small 3-lane one-ways, and there's a lot of different things you can do, but just to keep it basic, we'll do that. And then I would honestly use dirt roads and stuff early on, but maybe for this series, I don't know if it's going to be too necessary. Maybe I'll just start with regular roads. Maybe I'll use some dirt roads for like industrial areas and things like that. So I want to use that Miyagi exit that I downloaded, but if you are, again, if you're playing vanilla, this is what I would definitely 100% highly recommend doing. There's a lot of different ways that you could make a freeway exit. You can see that we actually technically exited the freeway here already, but then this is kind of like a big old long off-ramp, and we can deconstruct it later if we need to. It's just getting us away from the freeway, over closer to the water, closer to the higher land value. Where's the land value thing over here? It's one of these things, but there you go. You see that land value is automatically turned higher near water, so if you build houses near there, it's higher land value. It's kind of like building them, like placing a park down for free. So that's why we're kind of trying to build towards the water. And we've also got, noise pollution. And you can see the red is the noise pollution, and all the freeways cause noise pollution. The train tracks would too if trains were coming in, but we didn't have any coming in yet. So that's why we don't want to stay too close to the freeway. And there's a lot of complicated mechanics that go into this game, and those are just some of the basics. So just a few things to keep in mind, and that I just want to point things out as we go along here so that it doesn't overwhelm you and I don't explain too much right away. So if we don't have those assets and those roundabouts, or if we're playing vanilla, or for whatever reason, here's what I recommend doing. You get a 2-lane one-way road. You want to make sure it's a one-way, and you're going to build a roundabout near the exit here. It doesn't have to be perfect. I'd like it to be in between those two. I'm sure there's a way to snap it perfectly, but we'll just kind of do it right around there. We're going to switch to the curved road tool, and we're going to do... yeah, let's just do it from here. Nah, because I want it in the center there, honestly. What if I just kind of make a road down here first, and then just go right one? I don't think that's going to be what I want. Anyway, you can mess with it. I'm sure there's a lot of different strategies, and I'm just going to, rather than spending time on this, making a fool of myself, I'm just going to slap down a roundabout real quick. Okay, so let's go ahead and start it right here, right? And it's going to be a little bit sloppy, not a big deal. We're going to go, I wanted it to be, I don't know why it's not snapping onto the, 90 degrees. That's what I want. So we'll just build it here from this guy here. So let's go, say, 10 units out, and then 90 degrees again, 10 units down, and then again 10 units down, this way, 10 units, this time 10 units to the right, and then again 10 units to the right, and then 10 units up. And you see what we're doing here? We're just making a big old circle, and we're gonna demolish that guy so that it comes in like that. And see, it's not centered in between the two. I could have moved it over a little bit. I could technically, use the Move It mod right now and select it and drag it all over, but that's more complicated, and I don't want to get into that too much in the first episode. So this is just an example right here of what you could do, and then you could, connect this one further out. You probably want to have the entrance going in there and then build outward from the entrance. And then the connection to the exit should be further down on the way the people are going around the roundabout. You don't want to have the exit first and then people entering and passing by the exit, and then you're just going to have a bunch of traffic there. So you want to have it connected just like it is here. You can do all kinds of fun things from here. You could, make a cool little curvy road like that to connect it if you wanted. But honestly, guys, what I want to do, now that I've explained all that, is you see we get refunds for destroying stuff. So if too much time hasn't passed, then you can just destroy the roads and stuff, and you'll get it refunded essentially. I don't know if it's the full price, but if not, it's near full. So we're going to destroy that. We're going to refund. We're going to go to the roundabout. We're going to find that high-speed vanilla exit that I was talking about, and we are going to plop that bad boy right there. Now this gives us options to build in a lot of different directions. It gives us a nice, awesome exit there. And I think I was thinking of demolishing these roads, so you could like destroy one of the sides there if you're not going to use that exit yet and you want to save a little bit of money, keep expenses down. but I think I'll keep it for now. And that is basically how we start the road to the city. So we got a nice entrance here. Now, I don't want to touch up too much on road hierarchy, but that's a really important and semi-complicated at first concept in this game. But once you get it down, it's pretty simple. But let's just really briefly touch up on it. There's 4 levels, and there you can go into the specific names. It's like highway, arterial, connector or collector or whatever, and then neighborhood roads or something like that. But I just think of it as 4 different levels. So the highway being the highest level, it can hold the most traffic, and that's where stuff goes through your city, through the major parts of your city without being interrupted at all. And then the arterial would be the ones that come off of the highway, and you don't really have much on the arterial roads. That would be kind of this right here. And then you would have like collector, connector, whatever they're called, roads, which would be maybe like a road that I made out here in a straight line. In fact, let's go ahead and get started. I said we wanted to build towards the water, so let's make this our little connector road. Let's go to there, and then down there, and then let's get a little bit closer. Spending a little bit much here to get started, but that's okay. It's not a big deal. So consider that like our connector, or that might even be arterial. But anyway, you get the idea. And then you would build further little neighborhood roads off of this. So I'm going to grid up here. And then when we get closer to the water, I'm going to try to follow the water and do it like that. Now, grids are the most efficient way to build and keep all your zoning nicely, make the most use of your space. But they look kind of ugly, or they're kind of boring. It's a matter of preference. You can use the same concepts of road hierarchy even if you curve roads. Like let's bring this guy down a little bit further, and I'll show you what I'm talking about. We're gonna switch to the kind of curvy road tool, and we're just gonna kind of curve along the water there. We're gonna take advantage of that increased land value around the water, right? And you can see essentially some of these with the zoning, you're only getting 3 squares wide instead of 4 like you do up there. Whereas here, with the zoning on these guys, you've got, perfect use of all the space. You're getting maximum use of that space in the center. So with these neighborhood roads, this is going to be kind of like a neighborhood road down here, and these guys might be too. That's kind of where we're going to put like our residential. And then on more like the arterial roads and maybe even some of the connectors and closer to the highway, that's where we're going to put like our commercial stuff, because it's going to be a little bit less affected by sound, noise pollution, and it's going to cause some of its own noise pollution. So for now, let's build these guys out a little bit further. Let's make them maybe another 20 units. And then we'll connect them together again, and then we'll build this one all the way down here. I'll hold control so it's 90 degrees. And then we got our nice little starter here. And we got some space in the center, so we got a few options. We could like build that down like that. We could build another one in the center, probably not make as much use of the space. So let's do this right here. We're going to kind of just keep gridding it up. I really like this, actually. This is coming together nicely. And actually, we could leave that space open there in the center for like some sort of big park or something. Okay, so let's make let's get started here with some houses and stuff, with some zoning. And before we do that, if you are using districts and district themes, then you want to probably set a district and set a theme or two towards it If you aren't, then don't worry about this part. It's fine. Just ignore this part and start building. And skip ahead a few minutes. But I'm going to briefly touch up on districts. So we're going to just start one big old district. We're going to go to the district tool. I have a hotkey set. You can set it yourself if you want in the options. For D for districts. Use a large brush. And we're just going to make this whole area that we've started our first initial district. Because I'm not too worried about making another district for now. We're just going to do that one. And oh, wait, guys, we gotta name everything. So let's call our town. Oh, I gotta go to info here. Let's call it Bergerville. And instead of Madison Hills, we'll do Bonnie Hills, because Bonnie is the name of my dog. Alright, so we set the district there. We're going to go in there. We're going to go to policies for the district. And this isn't your regular policies. You have to click on the district itself. Go into, or excuse me, you can skip policies. You can just go straight to themes. Enable theme manager for this district, and then choose the themes that you want. And themes are preset sets of buildings. You can download them on the workshop, or you can select your own in the theme manager. You go to the theme manager. You can look, there's all kinds of settings. You can select none and just low residential and see all the different ones that you have. You can create a new theme and select the buildings that you want in it. But we're not going to touch up too much on that for this. So we're just going to use some basic themes. We're just going to use the international for this one, because that's pretty straightforward. We can also do the European, pretty simple and straightforward. But we'll just do international. And if you're playing vanilla and you're not playing with the theme manager or district manager or whatever, don't worry about that. This is not important. But I like playing with that. And since we're doing this series based on the mods that I'm doing, I wanted to include it. So we got that set. Now we're going to start zoning up here. But before we do that, we need to keep in mind like some basic utilities. Water and electricity, right? So let's do a little bit of basic zoning. Okay. Let's zone our residential near the water, like I was saying. So we're just going to get started right there. And let's go ahead and we'll do a couple on the side here too. And then let's make some shops, some commercial, maybe like up along here, kind of on our arterial. Keep them a little bit further away and keep it up a little bit further too, so that we have space to expand the road there, right? And also there's a little bit of a buffer zone in between the commercial and the residential. We can put parks and offices and stuff like that in there later. But for now, let's just make, actually, let's start it right there. Let's just make some commercial buildings right there. And as far as industry goes, you don't really need industry. You can technically play without it, but I like playing with it. There's a lot of different kinds of industry. You know, there's the oil industry and the ore and the forestry and agriculture. And if you have the industries down the level content, I'm sure there's all kinds of fun stuff, even more. But we do need a little bit to start off to be efficient here. So I'm just going to build another exit here, actually. And that way the trucks won't, you know, interrupt the traffic too much for people coming in. And we're gonna, let's build it out maybe like 20 units, or no, let's only go like 10 units this way. And then we're gonna go up back towards the freeway and stuff. And then we'll make it a boring grid, because it's just some industry. And just for efficiency's sake, to get us started here, we'll do it like this. And then we will connect it up. And then we're going to slap a whole bunch of industry right in the center there. I like using the fill tool sometimes to fill in whole blocks like that. This tool is great if you're doing grids. Otherwise, you know, you can, if you're going along the side there, you saw that I like filled in each square individually. You can also use this big old guy. I'm not a big fan of him because it's easy to mess up with, and I'm just not that great with precision stuff like that. But anyway, we got our basic zoning started. I like how our little setup is going here at the beginning. So now we need to make sure that we have our basic utilities. We don't want to worry too much about, you know, police or fire. And again, if you're playing vanilla without everything unlocked, you wouldn't even have this stuff unlocked yet. It would be just, you know, basic electricity and stuff. So I have a bunch of cool stuff downloaded for electricity and water and stuff too. But for electricity, just to get us started here, usually you would use like a wind turbine. I have this little guy right here. It basically works like a wind turbine, but it's a lot cheaper and produces a lot more electricity. So you could start with that. So if you place a wind turbine down, the greener the area, the more wind there is. And you can see it right here. It only produces 4 megawatts of electricity. If you move it over here, it's only 1 megawatt. Let's see if we can find a really green area. See over here, it's 8 megawatts. Is that the right term? Is it megawatt? MW? Anyway, these things also cause noise pollution around them. But if you have these cool assets downloaded and we're not playing vanilla, you know, I'll go ahead and start with this guy right here. It doesn't produce any noise pollution or pollution. It gets 0 to 26 megawatts instead of 0 to 8. And what does the wind turbine cost? 80 a week and costs 6,000 to put down. This thing only costs 320 a week and 500 to put down. So it's way more efficient and way cheaper. You could consider it cheating if you want, but I think it's just the way that this game is built. You know, you can choose to worry about certain mechanics of the game, or you can choose to simplify them. The way that the money in this game is too is if you have more money, you make less. If you have less, you make more, essentially, assuming that your city actually works to a certain extent, right? So if you're choosing to do things like, you know, give yourself more of a challenge and, you know, use the more vanilla stuff, that's totally fine. But again, for this series, we're not playing fully vanilla, so I will put the little observer tower down there. So if I was doing the wind turbine, I would probably want to put it somewhere, you know, where there's a lot of wind, where I get the full 8 megawatts, and somewhere where it's not near the residential, so it doesn't create too much noise pollution. But since we're using this guy, we don't have to worry about the noise pollution. Let's see if we can get him in a really good spot, though. The max that he can get is 26, so 25 looks like it's really good. Over here, we're getting 13. So let's go ahead and put him near the town so the electricity can just travel across really easily. And, oh, I think he needs to be actually, yeah, see, he's got a little arrow, so that means he needs to be placed roadside. So we're going to put him, let's make a little road, actually. We're going to start a road across. And there we go. I don't really like how that looks, that bridge there, but anyway, it's not a big deal. So let's go ahead and place him here. Now this thing doesn't snap onto the road or anything, so you can right click and hold to kind of swivel it and rotate it. There's all kinds of rotate options. I won't get into details now. Then just kind of point it at the road, left click somewhere to place it. We'll just put it nearby for now, and it produces electricity in that little circle there. And the buildings and stuff are not going to they're gonna create their own little like bubble of electricity once they pop up. And if you were doing you know, the wind turbine, doing it way out here, you would then need to put down electrical wires to connect from there to your buildings. But we're not going to worry about that because we're not doing that here. However, since the shops and the industry are kind of far away, I want to keep everything connected, so we are going to start some little electrical wires here. You would see the little blue bubble pop up around all the buildings once they pop up. But I kind of know the radius is going to be nearby, so I'm just going to start it there, kind of build it up here across. Let's get it, let's make it a little closer here, all the way across. Then yeah, that'll bring it close enough. In fact, we don't even need to go that far, honestly. You can see the zoning there, so we can bring it just up to up there, and that should be good. And if not, we can adjust it. And then we're going to do another one right around here. Bring it across. And sometimes if you try to do like a whole long thing like that, you know, it won't work. But then if you do it like connect to there and then connect up like I'm doing here, it might help out. So we'll do it right up to there, and that should get the job done. Alright guys, that is electricity taken care of. The next thing we're going to need is water. And these few basic things, electricity and water, you can technically start without, and your citizens will start to move in, and they'll actually be okay for a little while without anything. I just like to get it all set up right off the bat. That's a matter of preference. Before we go any further, I don't know if you normally would have the budget tab unlocked, but if you do have the budget tab unlocked, and we can do taxes. Yeah, if you're playing vanilla, you wouldn't have this unlocked yet, but I'll just point it out now. If you have everything unlocked, we can do this. You can set everything safely up to 12%. Just make a little bit more money from everything, and not worry about your citizens complaining or having any real consequences. There's more intricacies to taxes, but I always set everything at 12%, and I'm good. If you run out of money, you can take out a loan if you need to, and you can just pay it back easily. It's not a big deal. You can adjust all your budget here. So I actually like to turn a lot of things way down early on. Like, we don't need a lot of electricity, so we'll just turn it all the way down, even water at first. And then as we start producing water, we'll see like, oh, we only have this many gallons or whatever it is, and we need that many. Then we can turn the water budget up, and we'll produce more water. Garbage, you know, pretty much everything, I'm going to turn it all the way down for now, because we don't have anything yet, so there's no demand for it. And when we do put a police station down, it's probably not going to, we're not going to need too many police cars right off the bat, just one or two. So we can turn everything all the way down. Actually, parks and stuff I'll leave at 100. Transportation, we're not going to put any of that down anyway right away, so we won't worry about that. But just the basic services down to education and stuff, we can turn that down. You know, basically what this does is it just makes it cost less and produces less of the service. So it'll make less fire trucks, it'll hold less students in the school, it'll, you know, produce less police cars and garbage trucks, and produce less electricity and less water, which you don't need so much of at the very beginning. So it's not a big deal to take care of that. So we'll go and do water next. Now again, if we're playing vanilla, then we're going to start with a water pumping station and a water drain pipe. And you want to think about, where does the water drain to if I'm doing the drain pipe. See, there's little arrows down there, right? And you can see the water kind of flows in that direction. It's really hard to see here because it's really light, but there's a very light flow there. And over there it flows way out. So you would probably want to put the drain pipe somewhere really far away, because it produces this sewage, and the sewage will jet out into the water and follow whatever direction it goes, and it stays for a really long time until you get an alternative. You can get the water treatment plant or whatever, and that produces way less sewage. But if we're playing with mods and assets, I have all these cool things downloaded, and you might have seen these in my last video, and that'll take care of sewage. So first, let's just get some water to get pumped in. It produces a little bit of noise pollution, and I think it needs electricity, so we're just going to kind of make it somewhat nearby now. This will soak up some water. It's not going to be a big issue. Let's see, does it actually produce more in bigger areas? No, see, the amount that it produces is not changing anywhere we put it. So we'll put it kind of over here. And I think it needs electricity. Somebody can correct me if I'm mistaken, so we'll make it a little electrical while there. Now we're going to go to water again, and we're going to start connecting everything. So here's where we're going to start talking about water. There's a little bit of a system here. So let's come directly up, and I want to do a perfect, like, grid based on the way that the map is. So where's our map? Okay, there's our map. So this might look weird, but we're going to go like 90 degrees with the map, okay? So 0 degrees, there we go. So it's like perfect 90 degrees with the map right there, okay? And then we're going to come up and just connect that one. Why am I not getting why is it not snapping to 90 degrees? That's annoying. Okay, what if I go down? There we go. Go down, and then I just make it a little bit awkward there for a second. Okay. So what we're going to do here is, the magic number is 22. So we're going to go one way out, 180 degrees, however far we want to go. And then what we're going to do here is we're going to go up, or whatever the opposite, the adjacent one is to the one that you're going outward. We're going to do it 22 units every time. And that'll give you just enough space, maybe just a little bit of overlapping, to go out in the same direction as you initially went. So in this case, the initial direction is, left and right, and that's the one where we're going to use it to branch it like way out like that. And then the adjacent direction being up and down, that's the one that goes up 22 units each time. See, if you do 23, I guess it actually technically fits, so you could do like 23. I've always been told 22. It looks like is there a little space in between there? I'm not going to take the chances. So we're going to bulldoze that, and we're going to make sure that we do exactly 22. So get 22 units, and then go out again to about as far as we want to build. And I'm just going to grid up all the water here for now, so that we have room for expansion in the future, rather than trying to make it, just fit on the buildings that we have at the moment. We're going to go ahead and go up another 22 here, and this one can go all the way across here, so we can get that industrial stuff. Now, we don't have much there yet, so let's do one more branch here, 22, and then all the way out. And then for this part, there's no need for me to, build extra pipes all the way out here. So just temporarily, I can just make a little adjustment here and bring this one up just a couple units to cover that. And then later I'll go in when I start realizing, oh, I need to expand up into this area here, and I need to get more water or whatever, then I'll go ahead and do so. Alright guys, I think that is pretty much everything that we need to get started with a city. So, am I missing anything? We got water, we got electricity. We don't need, police or education or anything at the very beginning. So we're going to go ahead and unpause now by hitting either spacebar or 1. We're going to do it in single time right now. We got our district selected. Let's see. Oh yeah, there's no electricity there yet because we haven't built the buildings up. Now we're basically just waiting for people to come in. So let's actually go ahead and put it into triple time. And there we go. Buildings are starting to pop up. Alright, awesome. That's great. Okay, now see, the electricity should spread here soon. If not, yeah, there it is. Okay, cool. It's looking good. Stuff starting to pop up. Oop, I forgot to do sewage. See, they got that little icon there. And it's actually a good thing I forgot, because that reminded me I didn't do sewage yet. And that's what that means right there. So yeah, they have all the pipes down, but we need some sort of sewage. So again, if you were doing a sewage pump, you would want to put one where it spews far away from your city. So maybe way down here, or way up here if you have it unlocked. You don't want to put it nearby, or else it's going to just create a bunch of sewage for, you know, pollution for near your city. You definitely don't want to put it upstream of your water intake, because it's going to make everybody sick. That's going to be a big problem. But if you're like me and you're playing with assets enabled, I downloaded all these cool custom things that deal with sewage, and you can see the capacity that they drain. The higher capacity, the more that they cost. So we're just gonna look for a really cheap one right now. That one was only 240. This one's only 160. Now it's a large building, but it only takes care of a little bit of sewage, and only produces or uses a little bit of electricity, I think. Yeah, it should use a little bit less. Anyway, it costs less upkeep. It's only 160 a week. Only costs 2,000 to put down. So we're gonna actually create kind of a little sewage district here near our industrial. Let's branch out a little bit further first. Let's go up another 30 units, and we're going to put this guy down here. Now, since this is a custom asset, it doesn't need to be placed near the water. Again, I just want to point this out one last time. If you're doing the sewage drain pipe, the water drain pipe, if you're playing vanilla or you're using these, it has to be next to the water. You have to run pumps or pipes there. But we're gonna do which one was it? The one that's only 160 a week at administration laboratory. We're just gonna place it right up there so it looks nice, and then we are going to connect the water pumps up to there. Now he needs electricity too. So we're gonna do one more set of wires. Let's see. I think I can get by doing it right about there. Bam. Okay. That should take care of everything. And it might be a little while before these guys, you know, their problem is solved, but because that guy's got to get electricity and everything first. But we should be in business real soon here. If you're using Traffic Manager President Edition TMPE, you want to go in there with each one. You want to go into with each game, enable advanced AI. Then you want to slide it up to about 50%, and that just helps your cars be a little bit smarter and not make silly decisions. All right, let's go ahead and speed this up again. We have everything's taken care of water-wise. This guy still needs electricity because we haven't had any shops pop up yet. There we go. We got a couple shops popping up. You can see as the shops come up, right? Putting it in regular time now. The electricity bubble starts to pop up a little bit too, right? So now these wires that I placed are coming into full effect there. That's really good. Cool. Oh, it's telling me about canals. Yeah, sure, you can place canals, and if you do canals, they do create land value around them, but this is way more complicated. We're not going to worry about that right now. You can see there's a slight slope here. There's like a hill there, but it doesn't affect the shops and stuff too much. As long as the slope isn't too massive, they'll just naturally like kind of cling onto the hillside there and, you know, build up with the hillside, and they'll balance it out, you know, like it'll kind of flatten the land a little bit where the shop is essentially. Alright, cool. It looks like an IHOP. Pancakes International. Yeah, it's a pun on IHOP. Alright, the electricity isn't quite reaching that far because these shops haven't quite popped up. So let's just temporarily extend the wire there to connect that, because I want to make sure that these guys get electricity here. And I want to make sure that that thing gets electricity there. Okay. I think we are pretty much set here. This is the, you know, the starting of the city. So let's put it into triple time for a little bit, and let's just kind of watch some stuff go by. There's not going to be too much going on yet. If anything, most of what's going to be happening is going to be by the residential at this point. You're probably going to be seeing people driving or walking in between. Yeah, there we go. From the residential to the commercial. These people are probably coming in. We can see. Resides at the Barlow residence. So that's probably that right there. Beach residence. Birdsong residence. Whatever you want to call it. Oh, we can name our streets too. And all kinds of stuff. So like, instead of Gray Highway, we will call it the Bonnie Highway. And then we'll call this one the Snoot Way. There we go. All kinds of fun stuff like that. You can name individual buildings too. So, this one, it's called Neighborhood Shop, but then the model that they're using is the pancakes. So we could call it Bonnie's Pancakes. And you know, we'll probably never notice that again, but if we ever do happen to click on that particular shop, then it'll always be called that. Alexander Street. How about we just call it Berger Street? Because that's kind of the main road coming into our town there. Alright. Okay, guys. That is pretty much the very beginning of the town. If you want to continue along here... Oh yeah, it's giving us little prompts about making buildings historical. If you like the way that they look, you maybe you really like the look of that one, you can make it historical. And then it'll level up, but it won't change the way that it looks. So that's really good. Another thing that I said I was going to do, though, is place a park here. I don't think parks are unlocked at the very beginning, are they? Let's see. We can go to the milestones. Go back to the very beginning. Education, healthcare, loans. Let's see. I think we don't get parks for a little while. Yeah, parks are not unlocked until we get Tiny Town. But since we unlocked everything at the very beginning, it's not going to matter. So one thing that I would like to do, though, is one of the first things I want to place down is going to be a school. Let's start with an elementary school. I downloaded this fun Warunga Elementary School. It costs less. It's a little bit cheaper to run. It holds less students, and it looks really pretty. And I think that that'll go nicely in this kind of larger block here, where I was going to put a big park back there anyway. So why don't we do it kind of on the main road there, and then people will have their houses here, you know, the residential, and then their shops up there, and then they got the school right in the middle. And right now we can look down here. We got huge demand for residential and no demand for anything else. So we've got plenty of shops, we got plenty of factories. They don't have enough workers. So the first thing we need to do now is we need to get more people to move in here. So we need to zone more residential. Remember, we're trying to take advantage of this land value from the water here. We already put down water pipes out to there. So let's go ahead and get up to about here. Make sure we're taking advantage of those water pipes. And these guys should be good on electricity. Now, you don't want to expand too much too early, because then you're going to end up having this massive death wave. And I'm not going to go into death and health and stuff in this episode, but at least not too much. Just really quickly, you're going to need a graveyard or cemetery. Later you get crematoriums, or you can just take care of it the way that I do. Download this crematorium and funeral parlor. It basically, that and this other asset that I downloaded, this one right here, Tanatorio, if I'm pronouncing that correctly, basically eliminate the whole death mechanic from the game. They just have a whole ton of, hearses that they can use, and they're really cheap, and they cover a huge radius. So I recommend, if you're going to download any assets, I definitely recommend this right here, the crematorium and funeral parlor. I'm not going to worry about it yet, because we don't have any deaths yet. So we got the elementary school. We're not having any issues with fire or police yet. We're producing plenty of water. Sewage is good. It's getting a little bit low. Electricity is good. So since sewage is getting a little bit low, we're going to go ahead and go into the budget panel. And we're just going to turn water up a little bit. We're going to turn it from 50 up to 60%. And I think that's day and night. I always just keep them at the same. I don't know too much about how different they are. Alright, guys. And that is pretty much how you get a city started in City Skylines. We have this nice little city here now going along. Little start to it. And I hope that you guys enjoy this, little introduction here. So I recommend turning on the autosave. I recommend hitting F1 every once in a while to, quick save. And just make sure that you go in and delete your old quick saves every once in a while, because otherwise they're just going to stack up and fill up a whole bunch of space on your hard drive. And also, if you want to save things separately, you can just hit escape, go to save game, and I have a whole bunch here, from forever ago. But we're just going to call this one Bergerville, and we'll just say episode 1 for now. And we will save it there. And then if we go into load game, Bergerville episode 1 is there. And you can see I did a whole ton of quick saves here. It's mostly filled with that. And if you go to the bottom, you see I got a few others from a while back. But that is pretty much it. So guys, I know that this has been a really long video. If you made it this far, thank you so much. I really appreciate it. That's awesome of you. Make sure to leave the video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. And you can leave it a thumbs down if you didn't enjoy it. That's fine. Just let me know what you think. I really appreciate it. And I really look forward to continuing this series with you guys. I think it's going to be a whole lot of fun to just construct this city from, scratch and just focus on it specifically on the YouTube channel. So make sure to leave a comment in the comment section below. Subscribe, all that stereotypical YouTube stuff. Thanks so much for watching, guys, and have a good night.